Neurolastic 10 Minutes to Better Balance Level 2. This 10-minute exercise program will help you improve your balance, walk better, and fall less. This video is not physical therapy. Always check with your doctor before starting any exercise program. Level 2 is for people who find themselves occasionally stumbling or shuffling. Maybe they had one fall in the past. If you find any of this too hard, you can try level 1 instead. For each activity, you're going to spend about 2 minutes. You can rest as often as you like. You want to do this every day to see an improvement. Let's get started. The first exercise is sit to stand. Now, with 1 or 2 pillows under you, you're going to push off of the chair, come to standing, and grab onto the countertop that's in front of you. You can do this as slowly as you want, and you can take as many breaks as you like. If you feel that you're getting tired, just sit on the chair for a few seconds until you feel like you're ready to keep going. You're going to be doing this for 2 minutes total, so definitely pace yourself. In the beginning, you might find that in 2 minutes you can only do 6 or 7, but as time goes by, you might be able to do as many as 20. It just depends on your fitness level when you start. But a lot of people that do this are going to be struggling just to do 7 or 8 of these in 2 minutes. So don't feel bad if you have to do it slowly with a lot of breaks. Now, when you do this, you want to push off the seat with your both hands, and you want to, as you get your bottom up, you're going to be putting your head over your knees so you can see your toes, and then try to stand up all the way, grabbing onto the counter. You want to avoid grabbing the countertop too soon because you don't want to be pulling on the countertop to get yourself to stand up. If you do that, you're probably not going to be able to get better at this. The only way that you can improve is to try to do this using your own legs. Now, as you get a lot better at this, you might even find that you don't need to use your hands every time to stand up. And that's great. That's how you're going to improve with it. So sometimes you're going to just want to push off with maybe one hand and then use your legs the rest of the way to get you up to standing. It's very important that when you do it, that you stand up all the way. You don't want to be halfway up when you're grabbing the countertop. You want to be standing up all the way and then grab the countertop when you're fully in standing. You also want your feet to be shoulder width apart when you do this. For the next exercise, we're going to practice single leg stands. Now, to do a single leg stand, you want to grab the counter with both hands, put all your weight on one leg, and then try to let go for as long as possible. It's fine if you need to grab the counter again. If you do, I suggest that you switch to the other leg. This lets the first leg have a little bit of a break and gives you a chance to kind of get your balance back again to try it again. So you want to go from right to left, standing on one leg for as long as possible with your hands off the counter for as long of a time as you can handle. Then when you grab the counter, you put your other foot down, you switch legs, and you do the same thing on the opposite leg. Now, whenever you do this, if you're finding that it's difficult, you need to put your body weight fully over the leg that's standing. If you watch when I do it, I'm actually shifting my weight about 8 inches from the right to the left to get my body, my hips, centered over the foot that's standing. You want to do that while you're holding on to the countertop, and then let go of the countertop and see how long you can balance in that position. But definitely, if you're having trouble, it's because you're not leaning enough. You really have to lean to the right and left to get into a position where you can really balance yourself. It's actually a lot easier to balance yourself when your hips are over your leg. And as we get older, a lot of us forget that and we stop doing that, and instead we tend to shuffle and not lift our feet as high when we walk. And we actually, after a while, we get afraid to balance on one leg. But balancing on one leg is almost the key to improving your balance. Now for the next exercise, we're going to do what I call a pillow tap. You're going to put a pillow on the ground. You can hold the counter at first, and you're going to go right to left. So you're going to tap your right foot on the pillow and then your left foot on the pillow. And you can go as slow or as fast as you want, and you can take as many breaks as you want. The minute that you feel that it's getting difficult, grab the counter and rest for a minute and then start over. You can also sit down at any point and rest before you continue on. What's important is that you keep trying this for 2 minutes, but it's fine to take as many breaks as you want. Just keep tapping right then left. What this exercise does is it helps you learn how to properly shift your weight. What you don't want to do is hold the counter the entire time that you're doing it. It's fine to grab the counter whenever you're having trouble, but don't hold the counter the entire time. If you're finding this difficult and you're too close to the pillow, try stepping back from the pillow. The pillow should be about 8 inches away from your feet. In this video, because of the angle of the camera, it might not look it, but that pillow is about 8 inches away from me. So you want the pillow out in front so you don't have to bend your hips as much when you lift your foot up. For a lot of people, this is very scary to do this. You could even turn the chair around so that the back of the chair is facing you, and then you'd have the countertop and the chair right next to you while you're doing it. Anytime you feel like you're losing your balance with this, you want to grab back onto the counter. But if you can, you want to keep trying to do this for the full 2 minutes. You shouldn't be out of breath. You shouldn't be in pain. If you are, then stop and rest and sit down. Now for the third exercise, we're going to move the pillow out of the way. And the third exercise is backwards walking. So for this exercise, we're not going to let go of the counter. We're going to stand with the chair on one side of us, the counter on the other, and just take small steps backwards. Just 2 or 3 steps until we stop and turn around facing the counter and then walk backwards again. Now this is an exercise that for a lot of people is very difficult. It's very scary for them to try and walk backwards because they haven't been practicing it very much. And it's okay with this exercise if you hold the counter, especially when you first are learning to do this. You want to take 2 or 3 small steps backwards in each direction and always turn facing the counter. Don't turn facing away from the counter because then there's nothing to hold on to. Now, as you get better at this exercise, you can start to lift your hand up higher off the counter. Instead of gliding your hand along the counter, you can keep your hand up in the air while you're taking the steps back. You can also make it more difficult by taking longer steps. You can do that either while you're holding the counter or if you're letting go of the counter. You can try to take a little bit longer step. But make sure that you're not doing this away from the countertop. You need something to hold on to just to be safe if you're doing these balance exercises. Now, for the last exercise, we're going to do something that's called heel-to-toe walking. In heel-to-toe walking, you're going to try to walk forward while you're holding the countertop, putting one foot in front of the other. So it's almost like you're walking on a tightrope in one direction. Now, I only want you to go 3 or 4 steps before you stop. And each step that you take, you want to try and put your foot in front of the other foot. It's okay if you can't. If you find that that's too difficult, just getting one foot out somewhere in front of the other foot, even if there's a space between your feet, that's fine. But if you want to make it harder, actually bring your foot forward and touch your heel to the toe of the foot that's standing. That will make it a lot more difficult and more of a balance challenge. Now you'll notice you're only going in the forward direction. Try not to go backwards when you do this. You want to walk forward, putting your heel in front of the foot that's standing. And each time it's about 2 to 3 steps before you stop, turn facing the counter, and go in the other direction. Now I have a fairly long counter. If you have a longer counter and you feel comfortable, you can definitely go a longer distance. But I would recommend staying only in front of the sink when you do this initially, because the sink is the safest place to hold on to in case you lose your balance. Now for all these exercises, you want to try to do them once a day, every day, until you find that these exercises are easy, and then you can move on to level 3. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to see more videos like this. If you want to access my full training course, click the link below in the description.